In this video, I'm going to show you how you can set up Google Tag Manager server-side tracking, and I'll show you a step-by-step guide like what is server-side tracking, why this is neat, and what's the benefit of server-side tracking, and I'll show you a step-by-step guide. First, let's talk about the usual way how Web Google Tag Manager works. So you install Google Tag Manager in your website, and then whenever a user visits your website using Google Tag Manager, you send this data directly to your advertising platform, such as Google Analytics 4, Google Ads, or Metapixel. And then like this data sent via this kind of request, or you can send this data directly without Google Tag Manager, like using a plugin. And this data sent, like for example, Google Analytics for collecting data request path is like that, analytics.google.com and collect. But the thing is, ad blocker or IS restriction actually block this data. Like they understand how Google Tag Manager usually collect this data, and then they will automatically block this data. So for that, we need server-side tracking. So you have to go to Google Tag Manager, and here you can see I already create Google Tag Manager web container and connect with my website. And then now I have to create a server container, and for that I have to click in here 3 dot, and then I have to click in here create container, and in here I have to choose server, and then I have to write this name, like container name for my case, 𝗧𝗜𝗠𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗠𝗣𝗦, server. And then I'll click in here create. So our Google Tag Manager server container is properly created, and if you want to see your server container configuration, you have to just click in here this GTM and random number, and then here you can see like automatically prevention tracking server or manually. So in this case we actually use manually, and then now we have to actually create our server container in Stape. So I'll add the Stape link in the video description, so you can just click in here and claim in here a free trial. After visiting here and then sign up, you have like 10,000 requests actually completely free, and using this 10,000 requests we can like set up our service tracking, and we can like test everything, and once we see okay everything is good, and we can like go with their paid plan. Anyway, so now I'll create my server account and then get back to you again. So you have to set up everything carefully and verify everything is working perfectly, because even a single parameter missing, your complete tracking can be stopped. And luckily for you, I offer a free audit, and if you wanted to claim the free audit, you can check the top link in the description, or if you wanted to check if I can help you directly, you can book a call using the top link in the description. Here you can see I already created the Stape account, and I'm here in dashboard. So now we have to create a server GTM container, and here you can see GTM container. So you can like click in here GTM container, or here you can see in dashboard we already see create GTM container. So I'll click in here GTM, and then I'll click in here create GTM container, and then I'll write in here the name, and then here you can see container configuration. We have to go to Google Tag Manager server container again, and we have to click in here, and then we have to choose from here manually, and here is our container config. Okay, so you have to click in here to copy this in our clipboard, and then I have to go back to Stape, and here you have to paste the container configuration, and from here you have to choose your nearest server. Like I choose from here Netherlands, and then I'll click in here create container, but in your case like you can choose your nearest server, what you have in here the option. Okay, so now I'll click in here create container, and if you see anything related to pricing, just click in here free 10,000 request, and then we have to click in here continue with free plan. I just turn off that, and then I'll click in here continue with free plan. So now we successfully create our Google Tag Manager GTM container with our Stape GTM container. So now we have to create a subdomain. So for that you have to go to a Stape, and then you have to scroll down in the container, and here you can see add custom domain, and then I have to just click in here add custom domain, and then I have to write the custom domain name. So in this case like I'll write, let's say my name, and then mydomain.com, or like not using here like SGTM, not using here like tracking, not using here like GTM, because those actually understand using those type of keyword collecting data from any of this website. So using something like unique, let's say like in this case I'll use AK and 𝗧𝗜𝗠𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗠𝗣𝗦. Click in here manually, and then I'll click in here next. So now we have to add this record in our DNS management to active this subdomain. So in this case, like if you're using to Cloudflare or like GoDaddy or like Namecheap or anything to manage your DNS, so you have to actually add this subdomain based on your DNS management platform, but in this case I am using for my website like cPanel. So I'll add this subdomain from cPanel. So I have to just go to cPanel and then zone editor. In zone editor I'll have option like add record. So I just click in here, add record, and then the record is a CNAME. If I go back and here I have to actually choose the CNAME, and then the record is actually this one, host, and name is this, and their host is, I can also write like only write in here AK, and then the host is, if I go back to here, I have to just copy that. Here's the value. So value is the host, and I'll just paste in here that, and then I'll click in here save record. Okay, here you can see success. You successfully saved the following CNAME record for abdulkarim.com. And then what I'll do is here I'll go back to Stape, and then I'll click in here verify. So it will take some time, like up to 24 hours, but usually it takes actually 5 to 10 minutes to verify this is perfectly. So I'll just copy this link and I'll go to in Chrome and then paste in here the link, and I'll add some requests. I'll add in here like Qayyum, and then I'll just click in here enter. Okay, so this actually needs some time to verify, so I'll visit again in here after some time. But if I could scroll up, I just receive a notification. So here you can see this is actually ready. So this take like only 1 minute to verify. So without the first party domain create, I mean subdomain create and custom loader, you are just wasting your money and time with server-side tracking. So this is actually the important part. So let's go to again power-ups, Stape, and then here you find the option calls power-ups. So you have to click in here, use in here you can see an option called custom loader. So you have to just click in here use to use that, and then enable this button, and then click in here save changes, and then make sure you choose from here your custom domain which you was created, I mean your subdomain. And then like here you can say actually Stape default domain, just avoid this one and make sure you only choose your subdomain which you was created and verified. Okay, I just choose from here my subdomain, and then here we have to add our Web GTM ID. So I'll go back to Google Tag Manager web container, and then I'll just copy this ID from here, and then I'll go back to Stape, and then I'll paste in here the ID. Okay, so now you can like enable in here a GA4 ad blocker bypass, and but this is actually not very requirement, but those two actually requirement, first one and second one. And then you can like choose from here platform, and if you have like WordPress or Shopify or others in here, you can just choose those. But for this case they like show you to how can add this custom loader using their plugin, I mean Stape official plugin on those for those platform. But in this case actually I will use others since my website built with Framer, which actually not in this list. So I just click in here, and then I'll click in here generate. So here you can see Google Tag Manager provide us some code like Stape provide us some code like and say to add this code in our website head section and add this code in our website body section. So this is actually exactly how Google Tag Manager guide us to add, I mean connect Google Tag Manager with our website. So I'll just copy this code and then I'll go back to my website. So I already added my Google Tag Manager code in my website. Here you can see in the head section. So I just replace this code with my new code. Okay, so if you already have Google Tag Manager code connected, I mean added in your website backend, if you just replace this code, that's it. And then I have to also add in here the body section code, but this is actually not required. The head section code actually required always. So for this is actually good practice to add both codes. I'll just paste in here also body code, and then I'll click in here save, and then make sure I have to actually also publish this setup, right? So to live this setup. So I just click in here update. So now we will configure our Google Tag Manager web container to send this data our server. So for that, I'll go back to Google Tag Manager web container and I have to click in here tags, and we send this data to our server GTM container using Google Tag Manager Google Analytics 4 tag. So here you can see I already have Google Analytics 4 tag to send data directly to Google Analytics 4 without our first party domain or server. So now what I will do is I'll click in here configuration settings, and then I'll click in here add parameter, and then in the parameter name is server GTM server container URL, and I have to go back to Stape, and then I have to go to settings, and then if I now scroll down here you can see our domains. I'll click in here to copy this link in my clipboard, and I'll go back to this server web container and then paste in here this URL which I was copied from Stape. And then basically this is like what subdomain we was created to send this data via this domain. And then now I'll click in here save, but you can create this one as a constant variable. Like I just remove that and create a new variable called constant, and then I'll click in here and paste in here, and then write in here like server URL, and then click in here save. So now I'll click in here save again. Okay, so now you can like add this code to your every single GA4 tag, but if you only add to base code, this is also work. But that's a big great to add this code actually with your every single GA4 tag. Let's say like if you open this one, and then you can like click in here event parameter, and then add a new parameter is server container URL, and then paste in here, like add in here the variable. So server URL, and then click in here save. So that's how you can like add with your author's URL. So now we have to go back to our Google Tag Manager server container, and then we will make a preview. So to make a preview and see this data, we have to click in here server container, admin in the server GTM container, and then I have to click in here container settings. And then here we have to add our server container URL, and then I'll just paste in here the URL and then click in here save. So now we are ready to test our setup. So let's click in here workspace, and then click in here preview in server container, as well as we have to go to our web container in GTM and then click in here preview. And I have to actually add the website URL in GTM preview section. So I'll add in here the website URL, and I'll click in here connect. So here you can see Google Tag Manager web container is properly connected with our website. It's still connecting. Yeah, now here we go. Yeah, this is connected perfectly now. And then if I now go back to the server container preview, I should be seeing here some event. So yeah, here you can see we already received this scroll, frisbee, and others necessary all of this event. So if I now click in here and click in here event data, so here you can see we are receiving all of this necessary data in event data under, and then here you can see tag is nothing since we not set up any tag. So one thing I want to just clarify, which is if you could look at here request, this data right now outgoing actually none, because we are not sending this data to anywhere, and incoming request is here you can see HTTP and GA4 measurement ID. So when you add like server container URL in your Google Tag Manager web container under in GA4 base code, or you can write this like GA4 config tag, whatever. And then when you like send this data, send this parameter, and then send this data to server using your web container, so automatically your Google Tag Manager, your Google Analytics 4 web tracking will automatically off in here. Okay, so for that, now we actually receive this data using this data received by GA4 web, which automatically add in here client by default in Google Tag Manager server container under. But you can send this data without like Google Analytics 4 tag. You can send this data by like a Stape client or others custom client from Google Tag Manager Web to server under. So this is a bit complex, I know, but you have to actually know that. I think things will be clear after see this video after some time. I mean, recap this video, right? Because this is actually something complex and you cannot understand after see one time these things. So anyway, so now we will send this data to our server in our Google Analytics 4. So for that, we will go back to our server container and then we'll click in here new, and then we'll click in here again new, and then we'll create a new tag which is Google Analytics 4, and then I have to just paste in here the Google Analytics 4 measurement ID. Let's say my measurement ID is G123456789, and then you can like choose from here the trigger. Like I'll choose from here the trigger is custom, and then some custom, and custom would be like client name. I'll choose from here choose built-in variable, and then I'll choose from here client name, and then equal. And if I could go back to my Google Tag Manager preview, here I can see if I could go to event data and then client, write back client name, and yeah, here you can see the client is actually GA4. So I'll just write this name in here, client name equal GA4, okay, and then I'm clicking here save. So that's mean I'll write in here like GA4 all data. If I could just recap like how things are working, because we are sending all of this data now to our Google Tag Manager server container from our web container using Google Analytics 4 tag, right? So all of this data actually claimed by GA4 client, okay? So now we said whenever any event, like we not create any filter, we are create for all event. Like whenever we have any event, all of this event will go to our Google Analytics 4. So that's why client name equal GA4. And then you can write in here like GA4 tag, Google Analytics 4 GA4 tag. And then click in here save. So using the same way, like you can set up, okay, I have to like, I'll add in here wrong measurement ID. That's why here showing this error. So you can like using the same way, you can send this data to your others marketing and analytics platform. Let's say Facebook, Google Ads, or TikTok, or Snapchat, or others, any platform. Okay, so yep, that is how we create HTML container. That is how we send our first-party data to our marketing analytics platform. So you have to set up everything carefully and verify everything is working perfectly, because even a single parameter missing, your complete tracking can be stopped. And luckily for you, I offer a free audit, and if you wanted to claim the free audit, you can check the top link in the description, or if you wanted to check if I can help you directly, you can book a call using the top link in the description.